The world is very complex. There are many things that we know, and there are many things that we do not know, because they are invisible, or because we do not understand our own situation from the perspective of the powers that rule over us. We are often stuck in our own personal issues, but there are also larger games going on in the world. The religion, the politics, the corporations, the social networks, or even our personal emotions are not in control. They are just riding on top of the other forces. New ideas or new technology can change our world much faster than the religion or the politics. But there is also a more powerful player on Earth. A microscopic player that is too small to be seen. This player is in control of our basic emotions. What if our world and our history is a direct result of the food that we eat and the drugs that we use for our entertainment? What if our food and our drugs are in control of our culture and our worldview? What if there is a different reality than the one that we see in our mind? Yes, the mind. Not the eyes or the numbers that we can calculate, but the mind that is creating an illusion about the world in our head. Our modern world is getting wasted on coffee, sugar, meat, alcohol, and entertainment. Our culture is drunk on sugar and alcohol. The egoism and the conservative law is related to this to 100%. The Roman culture was constructed on the basis of the high consumption of wine. Slavery was accepted. The brutal life was accepted, and the people were constantly drunk. The average consumption of wine per day was 2 glasses of wine per person. Every day. The Roman Empire was constantly drunk. The Roman Empire did conquer large regions where wine was growing. They did abduct children into slavery for the production of this large quantities of wine. It is interesting. And we can also learn from this negative example. We can understand our own poisons and the type of food that makes us change our behavior in personal life. When we eat sugar, then our gut bacteria does change. Our health does change and our level of irritation will change. We react in a negative way to new things when we are irritated in our mind. The sugar and the alcohol are related to this. The alcohol is just another type of liquid sugar. We can see the influences from this in the politics, and in the violent behavior in the family, in the statistics for divorce, in the statistics for the low rates of fertility, in the large social difference between the people who eat well and the people who eat sugar and drink alcohol on a daily basis. The fungal infections, the viruses, or the gut bacteria can influence what people do and what they eat, what they feel, what they want, and what they fear. Our personal life is directly related to the bacteria that live in us and with us. The good thing is that we can also influence this game. When we influence what the gut bacteria will eat, then we are also able to select what we will feel on the next day. Our section of food and the recreational drugs is creating our culture. The addiction to sugar and the taste of fatty meat lead to the deforestation of the rainforest for the meat and the sugar industry. It's a sad state of culture when we destroy nature just to get the taste of meat in our food. It's an observation for now. We did it. We damaged the nature for our own benefit. Let's see where we will go from here. Let's see if we get a bad karma from this, or if we get into the serious health troubles with our selection of food that we eat on the daily basis. Let's see if the natural networks of fungus and bacteria will respond to our behavior. The bacteria and the fungus deform us, and they do influence our choices in life. The gut bacteria that eat the sugar did grow a very strong bond with humans. They made us do things that no other bacteria was able to do. There is a good comparison with pets in here. The dogs make people happy. They make the people to buy dog food for them. The dogs make the people to go for a walk twice a day. The dogs make their owners to do the things that they would not do otherwise. The dogs are influencing the behavior of their owners. The same is happening with other pets. The pet is not in control of everything, but some parts of life are totally dominated by our own pets. The pets and their owners do have a synergy of actions. The same thing is happening with our gut bacteria and the viruses that live in us. We are the pets of the bacteria and the fungal infections that live inside of us. The different infections can influence the mood. We can become more aggressive or more happy. The inflamed brain can produce more prejudice, more fear, and a more conservative culture. This is how the gut bacteria can influence us. They drive the general direction of our life in small steps. When the general mood is sad and angry, then we seek for more sweet food that will feed the bacteria. This is a long-term process with many stages in personal development. The sugar can reduce the size and the efficiency of the brain. When this degradation process is at the final stage, then we cannot escape the dangerous destiny. We just continue doing what we have done. And we keep eating the same type of food that is destroying us. The bacteria do own us and we can own them too. The body and the brain do respond to the chemistry that the bacteria, the environment and the food do create in our body. The level of oxygen is creating the chemistry in our blood. If we change the type of food and the drugs that we eat, then we can also change our personal reality and how we react to challenges in life. There is a simple experiment to see how the food and the gut bacteria play us like fools all the time. It's a fun game to play and to see how the mind changes when we supply the body with different foods. A good experiment is to drink coffee in the morning, then to drink mild green tea in the next morning, and write the mood differences down. The different food does produce the different results in the mood, and the diet can change our culture or influence the general mood in our country. The plants like coffee or mint can change our mood, so can our gut bacteria too. Our culture is dominated by the consumption of sugar. What if the gut bacteria dominate our personal life more than anything else in the long term? The sugar leads to inflammation, the loss of memory, and a very strong addiction. It's one of the hardest addictions that we know. What if the bacteria and the viruses did influence us to eat more sugar and to prohibit everything that will stop this addiction? The sweet alcohol and the sugar are some of the most addictive drugs that we know. The tobacco and alcohol are very dangerous to the health, yet they are available in every part of the world. The alcohol, the sugar, the coffee, and the tobacco produce the mood swings in our mind. They make us want to eat more sugar and more carbohydrates. It is suspicious that the traditional psychedelic medicine is illegal, while the most harmful drugs are legal. It is like madness. But maybe this madness is the result of the gut bacteria that is blocking our logic. When this bacteria wants us to eat more sugar, and to block out every possible solution to this addiction. The largest restaurant businesses sell the most unhealthy food, liquid sugar and drinks that are very cheap to produce and very popular to sell, because our gut bacteria makes us want to buy those products, if we need them or not. What if this type of gut bacteria did influence our culture, our history, and our logic when we write our law? The psychedelic plants can stop the addiction to sugar and alcohol, yet those plants were made illegal. What if the bad gut bacteria is trying to manipulate our minds and to protect its own dominance in the world? The country of Mexico has a long history of traditional use of the psychedelic plants among the native Mexican people. Yet Mexico did make their own culture illegal for no valid reasons. It is suspicious. Our culture prohibits the use of the psychedelic plants for some evil reasons, but the destructive alcohol and the sugar are legal and cheap. The medicinal psychedelic plants can heal depression, while the sugar can increase depression, while forcing us to eat more sugar and to drink more beer, so that the bacteria and the fungal infections in our body can eat more of that sweet, tasty sugar. What if our bacteria made us very conservative, so that we reject any medicine that will help us to escape this relationship with the bacteria that eats sugar in our gut? The psychedelic plants are illegal not because a loving government is concerned about our health. The psychedelic plants are illegal because they dissolve opinion structures, remove addictions, or destroy the cultural models of behavior. The psychedelic plants open the mind to the possibility that everything we know is wrong. Our culture does not want to admit that there is a very different version of the world. We naturally want to be right. It feels good to be correct. We want to say that we know how the world is. We do not want any doubt in our personal view of the world. We want to think that we are the good people. We want to say that we know what is right and what is wrong. Our culture rejects the use of the psychedelic plants for no logical reason, because our culture is afraid to admit that it is wrong. The conservative people cannot admit that they are wrong, because it will damage their ego or some part of their fixed worldview. Or maybe our culture and our law was manipulated by the gut bacteria that are behind our addictions to the unhealthy types of food. Our culture is constantly dominated by our diet and the egocentric ideology. It is unhappy with itself. That is why we seek for more consumption, for the next best thing to do, for the next fashion, for the next tasty drink with sugar, for the next addictive substance, for the next show to watch, for the next something that will save us from the miserable state of the now, that we cannot enjoy as it is. It is all personal. It is all an illusion, because we are not able to see all the possible facts from the outside of our own perspective. We only see what we know and what is around us. The psychedelic plants can open up our perception, so that we understand our own illusions about the world. Those plants are a natural medicine for the mind. Yet, the psychedelic plants are illegal, while the dangerous drugs are legal. No government can be legitimate when they stop their own citizens from growing their own personality with the help of the psychedelic plants, while the legal poisons are allowed to be sold to the public. It is as if the governments want us to be stupid and never to escape the illusion that was built very carefully. When we look at all of this, then there is a good question. What is the game? Who is the player? What will be the results from our addiction to the sugar and the alcohol? Is nature in control with the power of the bacteria? Are the corporations in control? Are we all contributing to the destruction of the earth, because we are subconsciously not happy with our own soul? It is possible that our path in history is the direct result of technology, the weather, the religion, the biological evolution, our environment, or the public mood around us. Maybe the world is a strange combination of all the things that have an influence. Or maybe we are passively dominated by the type of food that is popular in our culture. What if our history and our culture is the result of the food that is popular food during the different periods in our history? What if our culture is directly influenced by our gut bacteria and the viral infections that are connected to the different types of food? It is an interesting idea, and there might be some truth in this idea. We are influenced by many things in life. It's only logical that our gut bacteria are in partial control over us too. Will we win this game with a clear mind, or will our selections of food define the final future of nature on Earth? Let's see what happens with our personal life when we try to eat the different types of food.